Hello and welcome to your first 10 minutes in EstimatorXpress. Firstly, we would like to say thank you for investing or considering to invest in HBXL estimating software. And secondly, I would like to say that you can find more videos like this one on our support page on our website and our YouTube channel. Now, let's get into it. When you first turn on the software, this is the page that you are going to be greeted with. This is your home page. You're going to be able to see your previous jobs you've been estimating, software features for the version of the package that you own, such as Smart Scheduler, new build templates, office and shop refits. You'll be able to see a software subscription and how long it is until your expiry date. Finally, you'll be able to see a job status update where you can see jobs being estimated, jobs that are completed, and then quotes that were unsuccessful. Mine's being quite flattering at the moment. On the left-hand side, you'll be able to see jobs, group jobs, library, and at the top of the page, you'll be able to see create new job, your settings, and your help tab. Firstly, create new job, quite self-explanatory. Click this button here, and you can create a job from a template, or you can do a Plans Express import. These items will be seen in other videos. You can click the Jobs tab, which is all of this information, but broken down into an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so again, you'll be able to see the name of the job, what type of job, how much it is, whether it's an estimate in progress, and where it's saved on your device. Up at the top, if I were to click Dashboard, we'll go back to our main homepage, and you'll then be able to see under the Settings tab that we can change the theme from a blue or white to a dark theme as well. So if you're used to having, say, a dark web browser, dark themes on your apps, you can do that with this software package as well. Go back to the blue theme for myself. You'll be able to go to the Library tab, and you'll see you have your price books, favorite merchants, overhead profit and inflation, specifications, estimating calculators, and data reports. In the first 10 minutes of you owning this software, I highly recommend you come to the Overhead Profit and Inflation tab and make sure that this is correct for your business. What we have here is your material, your labor, your plant, subcontract, and sundry items. You'll find that these are the 5 categories that we break this software down into, no matter what, in the software. In the report section, you'll be able to find these individual items and you'll be able to go into more detail later on. My markup currently is 40%, and we're finding within the estimating department that you'll see anywhere between 35 to 45% as a profit markup with a particular business and construction anyway. Now, if I wanted this to be 35%, I can take this 25 and I can take it to 20, and I now have a 35% markup on my material, but still 40% across the board. So I can just do this nice and fast and change it accordingly. The reason why we're breaking this down into overhead and profit is because there are overheads that you sometimes don't really bring into consideration when you're pricing, such as how often you're going to be going to a particular builder's merchant, how long you're spending estimating, how many times you're going to be going through discussions with your client for certain elements that they might want to change. Okay, so we want to make sure that this is actually a charged part of your business and a charged part of your time as well. Okay. Next to that, we then have your inflation rate, and this is going to kick off after 12 weeks, and that is completely optional if you want it to be. The reason why we have this in place is because you could have a job that could be lasting 20 weeks, 25 weeks, based on the build program that is generated for your quote. Now, we don't know what the prices are going to be like in 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 20 weeks time. So what we have here is just a fail-safe. And like I said, it's optional. It's a tick box at the very end of your quote. But this is just going to add on 5% across the board for these items. Your client's never going to be able to see what you are charging for individual materials, plant, and for your labor rates. It's always going to be combined into one lump sum figure. Okay, so this 5% is going to be embedded into that lump sum figure. Going back to the library, we can then see our price book. So we have material, labor, plant, subcontract, and sundry items. If I were to click my labor costs, I can update these nice and quickly at the very beginning just to make sure that my labor is priced correctly So what you can see here is we have 2 bricklayers and a mate, 4 bricklayers and 2 mates, bricklayer, bricklayer's mate, and so on. What I can see here is that my bricklayer is £25. Now, it's not a day rate, that is an hourly rate. We are breaking your working day into 8 hours when it comes to estimating. Now, you might think, well, we don't work a traditional 8-hour day like an office worker or something like that. However, guys like me in the estimating department that have been estimating for years and years because of spons and all sorts of estimating books, that's how they price this, and that's how the industry estimates as well. However, you can work that into a day rate for yourself in this software. All you have to do is divide your working day by 8 and stick it into this cost. So right now, this bricklayer, according to me, is £200 a day because 25 times 8, £200. If he was £300, all I have to do is right click and go edit resource. And as I've done this a fair few times, I know that's £37.50. So if I just type in 37.5 and click OK, I now know that my bricklayer is now £300 a day. And I don't have to worry about that for when I'm estimating later on, because the software is going to work it all out for me. All right. You can even add in your own bricklayers as well. All I have to do is just highlight the bricklayer, go new resource, and I can call this guy Dave, Barry, Bob, depending on what I want to do. Dave Bricky, for example. He could be £25 an hour, so £200 a day. And then I'm sure I'll be able to find him down at the bottom here as well. All right. So you can do that with material, labor, plant, subcontractors across the board. Your plant, this is where you're going to be able to find rental costs and wear and tear costs. So rental costs for the likes of access towers, cherry pickers, mini diggers. You have your mini digger and a driver down here as well at £400 a day. I can come down a little bit further. We have dust sheets, so wear and tear on those, shovels, wheelbarrows, things that will rip and break on site, things that you might not even think about pricing when you're actually doing your quoting. So what we're doing for you is we are embedding these prices in the background so you don't have to worry about them. Now, as an example, we have a shovel at £12. Every time that you're going to need a shovel on site, we're not charging your client 12 quid. Okay, but what we are doing is every time that you use a shovel, we're going to be charging the likes of 20 pence, 30 pence. Now, these things all do add up. Now, you might break a shovel. It might cost you 30 quid. It's not the end of the world. But if you have your tools stolen, if you have a drill that breaks and you're spending 180, 200 quid, you want that to be a business expense and not a personal expense. So that doesn't want to come out of your profit. That wants to come out of a quote that you've estimated for 3, 4, 5 months ago, on top of all of those compounded material and plant usages. But I'm droning on. What you'll see here as well, we do have grab lorries, plasterboard skips, roll and roll off skips, traditional domestic skips as well. We have congestion charges, daily parking fees, mileage, all of the items that you could be coming up against when you are quoting as well. And these are things that you can put in black and white that your client is going to be able to see on your quotes at the very end as well, taking into consideration they might be trying to negotiate some prices with you, but these are the black and whites that they can't get away from. Okay. Once you have your plant, you then have your material. Now, we have about 16 to 18,000 materials in the software for you from the very beginning. And what I can do here at the very top with my super search function, I can type in, say, plaster, for example. And everything with the word plaster will come into consideration. So we have plastering sand bulk, we have board finish plaster, browning plaster, hardwall plaster. I can come down a little bit here, plaster cornices, plaster corner bead, jagged plasterboard, and so on. And what you'll be able to see as well is that you can create your own material. So as you can see in multi-finish plaster, and I can choose which merchant they're coming from. And to do this, all you have to do is just right click. No, you don't. I lied. You can select the material. You can go new resource. And just like the material, just like the laborer with Dave the bricking, I can then change this to however much I am paying for that material. I can choose where I'm getting this from. So Dave the Bricky, he's got a Builders Merchants as well. Dave's Bricky Merchants. I can click OK. And I do believe he will appear at the very bottom of my list. So we have Dave's Bricky Merchants there as well. Lastly, we want to have a look at the data reports before we go into our estimate. Now, the data reports are purely how you're going to see information at the very end. What you will see is that we have a good 20 to 30 reports for you from the very beginning, so you can see information in different ways. So if I wanted to just see a traditional standard breakdown, nothing too integral, I can go to the cost summary report. And what this is going to do is tell me how much I'm going to be spending on my material, my labor, my plant, what types of material, what types of labor, and what types of plant. So as you can see, for an example, under labor, we have bricklayer, carpenter, decorator, electrician, and so on. Under material, we have concrete, cylinders, decoration, door furniture. Under plant, we have craneage, light plant, sundry plant, and so on. And we can see that. If we want to go into more detailed information, we can then go to materials used. And this is just one of several reports that you can choose. But materials used is going to break down the build phase, the type of material that we're going to be using, how much that material costs, how we're traditionally going to be estimating it. So whether it's going to be each, say a brick, per meter square, per linear meter, if it's going to be timber. And then we can see next to this, we have how much we need to order, how much is going to be wastage, and then how much we have to order including wastage. So for bricks, for example, we have 15,297 bricks. That's going to be the exact amount of bricks that we would need for this particular job. In that, we would need to add on an additional 764 bricks for 16,061 bricks. Now, as a builder, as a business owner, you're probably going to go, well, if I have my bricklayers breaking best part of 800 bricks on a job, I'd be losing my marbles. But we want to know that that 5% is being priced for in the final item. So what we can see now is we're charging £6,118.82 for no wastage, £300 on wastage, £6,424 including wastage. All right. And you can break this down even further to say, right, all I want to see is this final number and this final number. Or I can just take out the wastage items. So I can just see the difference straight away. And to do that, in the bottom right-hand corner here, you just remove those two columns. So what we can now see is what's original, what's needed, including wastage, what's costing including wastage. And that will be your report at the very end of your estimate. Going back to the dashboard, after you've done these one or two minor tweaks so you can see the information the way you want to see it, you can price without any thought of knowing that your profit margins are incorrect. You can calculate how much your labor is going to cost because you've put in the right pricing. What you can then do is you can create a new job and you can go from a template. Then we can build up from there. But I would like to say thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video and seeing your first 10 minutes in EstimatorXpress. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.